I think I may have lost sound. Did you lose sound?
Yeah. Hello? Can you hear me? How's it
Tech
going?
difficulties.
That's a part of it. That's all a part of the joys. Hello, everybody. We are live, so I am just going to roll with this. Welcome to the. Hello, you here? Oh, calamity! Oh, you're gone again. That's brilliant. That is brilliant. All right, so guys, this is our show. Angela and I do every week, and basically what we do is we combine our books. So she's written a book on poems, and I've written a book, about deciding your destiny and transformative memoir. So what we decided to do is to come together every week on a Friday morning for anybody in Australia. People in Perth, it's 6 a.m. usually, but I think they had a time change in America, so it's 7 a.m. today. And obviously east at the moment, Sydney's 3 hours ahead. Gotta love all these daylight saving time changes. So yeah, we come on and we just discuss a chapter. So we're going through, there's 20 chapters in my book, and we're going through chapter by chapter. So we're discussing, the topics in the first chapter, second chapter. So now we're up to chapter 5, which is family. And so last week we did heroes. That was chapter 2. So basically what we discuss the chapter, the exercises, the message, and Angela combines her her poem book, and then we combine it to a podcast. So she creates a poem for that. So yeah, it's been a lot of joy, and it's been a lot of fun. And it looks like I could be doing a solo episode today. No.
No, you're not.
All right. I was just telling people about what we're doing here, combining our books and creating, 22 episodes, and I guess a little intro about what we're doing.
Yeah. Thank you. That's fantastic. It's a that was a surprise though. For all of a sudden, my headphones and my microphone just were not working at all, and
Yes.
yeah, it was really weird. So I thank you for stepping up and thinking of something major, because that's important. I think it's important for people to know that we have this is what we're doing. Yeah. And I'm excited about that. Did you tell them all about today's topic?
Yeah, so I said we're up to chapter 5, which is the meaning of me. And last week we did chapter 4, so hero's journey. And we obviously in the book that I wrote, there's an exercise. And Angela's really awesome because she's in a book on poems, and it doesn't necessarily match up to every chapter. But so she chats with me. We talk through a couple of poems that she's working on through the week. So it gives her, I guess,
yes,
opportunity to keep creating. Awesome. And
it does. It's actually, it was hard this week.
Yeah,
really hard. This chapter
hits a core,
and it hit a. I mean,
family.
It just went for the jugular for me.
Yeah.
I was already, I don't know what holidays you guys celebrate, but Thanksgiving for us is coming up here as far as timing. When we're posting this live, it's in a couple weeks, and I've been really torn about what to do, because earlier this year, part of my family decided not to talk to me anymore, and so actually I did, that was I think the third poem I sent was, I just went for, okay, you know what, get this out. This is hard, and I think it might be relatable. I'm not sure which poem you had thought we were going to do today, because we didn't really say, oh yeah, this one, because I've done 2 before on the show, and then I thought, oh my gosh, I have 4 potential poems for today.
That is awesome. See, but that's like a part of carving. It's like, when you're carving, and that's what I think about a book. It's like you're carving a rock into into some sort of form, and that's the creative process. You're carving all these layers getting rid of all this granite, and you're finding, okay, that's the form that I want to bring forth.
Oh, yeah. Well, to be transparent, right? The person that hurt me so deeply was also the person I felt like I was hating, right? Like, you know. And so I think that might be important for the listeners to know, like, just because I'm on the show and I'm up here, sharing all these tools help me because I struggle. I use them daily, many
Yeah.
times, more than once a day.
Yes, exactly.
Is
Yeah.
And so I thought it might be important to say that. Even Joe Dispenza, I was watching him, I think, with it was either Lewis Howes or on Impact Theory, one or both places. And the question was, do you have
Maybe
to
Tom
like
Bilyeu.
reset or something? Yeah,
Yeah.
Tom Bilyeu, he's Impact Theory,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So he was saying, multiple times a day.
Yeah.
He's got to reset. And sometimes it takes him 15 minutes. Sometimes it takes him 20 minutes. Sometimes it takes him an hour. And I think sometimes with family, it takes longer because especially when there's a conflict, right? Because it's so much closer to home when it's someone that we care about. Like, and that's the thing in this poem that, what was it that I really wanted? What did I really, what was I so sad about? That was the, because I called it Family Sucks.
Look, that is family's like many things, right? It's like a myriad of things, and it can be a myriad of things to many people, and it can be a myriad of things to anyone throughout their life. What was family when you were younger? What was family at 14? What was family when you were starting to kind of want to break out and your own, your own personal life? What was family?
You mean your destiny?
Yeah. Nice cue. But what you're saying there about the help and Joe Dispenza, I really loved what you're saying there. Because I got inspired to pick up my daily doses again. So doing a video every day, like a Decide Destiny daily dose, like a short 5-minute snippet on a topic. And yesterday, basically, someone inspired me. I was having a conversation with someone, and we were talking about how, I guess, like if you're at the top of the top, then you're instantly evil, or like those quotes like money is the root of all, and all these sorts of things. And we were just discussing how people at the bottom can be evil, people in the middle can be bad, people there's bad everywhere, and there's good everywhere. There's good right up to the top. There's people right at the top who are maybe a part of the boys club, and who are actually saying, hey, why don't we share some of the things that we know? Why don't we share it with other people so they can have a chance? Why don't we stop being so unconscious and keep it to all ourselves and keep boys club? Why don't we share what helped us along our way? And you see them on like the show we mentioned earlier. And I think so that basically sparked me to talk about, well, why don't we focus on what good we can put into the universe rather than all the bad that is there in the universe? Because we can share the bad, we can talk about the bad, but and then I thought about this on a deeper level, and this is probably my thought about family that's changed, because I've had different stages of my view of family, and definitely exactly what you're talking about with that family sucks. I've had that a lot, and probably at younger ages where you wouldn't want to have that, and then working out, well, what is family? Like, does it have to be the blood? Like, is it going to be these people that I'm not related to? And so I've had a very different, I guess, upbringing. Most people weren't brought up by their grandparents, weren't related to, so that's like something that is, everyone's had unique upbringings, but I'm just saying that was a different one. But what I was, sorry, before I throw it over to you, I just want to say, what really inspired me, or really made, was my grandparents who went through those challenging times, and how they got through it, and they focused on their family, or they focused on not their family, the community. And then I thought, like, where has that gone awry in modern time? That community, that kind of, and I think, like, I love that Joe Dispenza talks about this. Like what you're saying is that, hey, I need help, and everyone needs help. And right up the top, generally people that are right up the top, or whatever, if they're more, they've got more energy flow. Let's call it that, more energy flow of letters saying thank you, or like money and opportunity. They need more help to keep measured, focus on their mission, to not kick back, put their feet up, and slowly waste away. Or like they need more help.
I see what you're saying there.
I'm
just questioning more help. I think maybe it's the same.
Well, I think I would need, as I go along. So every individual person needs a certain amount of help, right? Some people need a certain amount of help at different stages, and we need deeper help and those sorts of things. But I would believe that the more, like, if I employ 10 staff, well, then maybe I need like more time with a mentor, or more time with the leadership coach, or more time with the, and then if my impact grows, I need more help to help me guide it in the right direction. It's kind of like, all right, let me drive a little bicycle, Okay, I need a bit of help where I'm going to go. Now I'm driving a cruise ship. Man, I need a lot of help to make sure I steer that in the right direction. It goes in the wrong direction, it doesn't just take me down, it takes the 1,000 people that are depending on me for their economy down. That's how I look at it. Kind of like, as you grow, you need more help, and that's a beautiful thing, to be able to go hand up and say, hey, I need some help. Like, I want help. I want to change. I want something to change here.
Yeah. Well, and that's being willing to receive too, right? And sometimes I think, especially in today's world, there's that lack of willingness to receive, thinking I have to achieve this on my own. But before I get a point back about relationship and family, and really isn't relationship about connect, disconnect, reconnect. And isn't that reconnect where if we can get good at that reconnect, then it can change our world, not just the world like my personal world, but literally the world. And I think a lot of time we get this idea, like you were talking, it'll ripple out. And the other thing that came up for me too while you were talking was, I remember working in a predominantly female position in a it was a medical facility, and there was a very much, guys are horrible. I was like, well, hold on a second, I've seen girls do the same things.
yeah
And I think the reality of it is we're all human. But I love your analogy of the cruise ship versus like the bicycle, or even like a small sails boat or a kayak, right? That would be very different than the big cruise ship. And even the kayak at some point needs help if the water doesn't behave like they anticipated the water was going to behave like. So in essence, all of them needing help, which is beautiful. I think that's awesome.
Exactly. And I think we're so influenced. Like, that's the thing. Like, we're so influenced. So if you get up on a podium or in front of a TV crew and you fearmonger for half an hour, imagine the consciousness that you've just rippled out, the disturbance you've rippled out into people's lives. And that fear-mongering hits someone's consciousness. And then now they go home, and then maybe their wife or their husband pressures them with something else, and their kids, and then they're just about to boil over, and then they have a fight with their family. Maybe that's the fight that's the last straw. And we don't think consciously enough of the effect that we have because of, I believe, immoral ways of getting clickbait. And I think what I hope is virtue incentivized capitalism. Virtue, like let's look at the wheel that we're growing. Let's get attention for our charity and our cause and our business that's going to employ so many people and rip them out of not having a job. Let's get attention for those things, but like in the right way, Let's go for success and go about it in the right way. Because I don't think if you go for success in the wrong way, I don't think it's success anymore. I think it's cheating. I think it's going to come back and bite you maybe in another lifetime if it doesn't this lifetime.
Well, definitely if you don't have any heart about it, right? Like if it's, if there's no feeling to it and it doesn't, but that would be the definition of a psychopathy, right? Like it doesn't matter who I step on. There's actually a really great movie. It's a documentary called I Am Fishhead. It's fantastic.
Love the title.
On psychopathy. And it does exist in at least in corporate America, I know, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're talking about family today. And I'm totally getting off track because I get fascinated by some of these things. But
that's okay.
Family.
Do you want to share your first poem?
I think if there's one place I wouldn't mind having lack of feeling sometimes is in family, but that's just not true. I'm sorry, that was a bad joke.
Laughy Lane. So this I like that. I get it. I put it together.
Yeah, got it. Okay, so this one was called Family Sucks. Okay. You looked at me with joy and excitement to tell me your dream came true and that you deceived me and hid what you were doing. My world came crashing down because you didn't want me to know who you were. I missed the journey, and my life changed too. I wanted you there. You brought joy, fun, and love. I tried to explain how much that hurt, and every single time you couldn't hear me. You couldn't understand the pain. It wasn't possible in your mind that something good for you could hurt me too. But I think you knew. That's why you hid yourself. And I wish you could have looked at me lovingly along the journey and said, I know this is going to suck, and I love you. I'll be there to help you figure it out. I won't abandon you, but you did, as if that pain wasn't enough. You told the family it was me, and the ones that hadn't seen how you were, they left me too. So now I'm trying to be the best I can be without support, without love from the people I love the most.
Wow. That's in the feels. Keep sharing that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I know it takes a lot. And,
that one was pretty, for me, that's like a lot of pain. But at the beginning, what I liked about this one was really recognizing what was it that I wanted to be happy. I wanted to participate in the journey. I wanted. And I didn't get to participate. And then I wanted other things that didn't happen. And, what was really sad, I think for me, and it took me a long time to get used to trying to, at least from my kids, to hear the when they were giving me feedback, to know that it was coming from love, that really it came from a place of love. And if anywhere in my life I had done that behavior, then I could say, okay, I see that.
Yes.
And just connect with them on a deeper level. As if I could find it inside of me that it was even possible that I injured someone else, then I could shift, and it shifted entire conversations. It shifted relationships. It was a big deal to learn how to say, yeah, okay, I did do that, and I'm sorry, because that just wasn't my life. Yeah.
I
think we have a lag. Powerful. I apologize.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think I have a lag on my end. I think it's on my side.
That's I was just saying that's powerful. That was powerful. I've always really appreciated your ability to have introspection and observe yourself. And I think when you don't have that support, you have to kind of do that more. I think because you can have support, but then at the end of the day, it's you at the end of the day. You have to face you and go, well, what did I do in the day? Where did I go? What am I doing? Did I treat that person the best I could? Did I try the best I could there? And if you've got strong principles and ethics in sound, then you're going to ask those questions every day, and they're important to you. And so being aware, not being kind of I'll put a visual element to it because it happened to me yesterday, walking in the city and looking at this lovely, and then something happened. I'm like, okay, this is why I don't enjoy the city. And basically what it was is just someone smoking a cigarette and just blowing it and just letting them just consume me with their smoke, and then just going for another one and just being so oblivious of the impact, the influence. And I think there's a great...
I was going to say, take that and put that, imagine that's a family member blowing smoke at you.
Yeah.
Because that's sometimes how being in a family, especially
100%.
in those struggles, it feels like. And then that person, they're not doing it on purpose, right?
Yes.
It's just how they are. But with family,
not conscious.
Sometimes we decide that they're consciously aware of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And what if they aren't?
Exactly.
What if they have no idea?
Yeah. Yeah. No idea of their impact. And look, I can definitely say I have been that person at times. I can be a bit, push boundaries and joke a bit more than I should, and not than I should, but because I don't know. I think when you have multiple near life death experiences, and you're on a chopping board, and you get all sorts of cuts, and you go through those sorts of experiences. And then I was raised by my grandparents, and and holding my grandfather's hand, passes away, and not being so. I remember when I was a kid at school and realizing, you're going to die, one day, and I was just like, what? Like, this game ends, and it felt like a gut punch. I'm like, but what if I want to keep playing? That's not fair. And it's like, and in my heart of hearts, or my belief, I'm like, I get next lifetime to give it and I get next lifetime, or I get the next place my soul and my spirit goes. But I remember being a kid and having that feeling, and then there's the Romans call it, or the ancient Romans, but memento mori, remember you will die. And it's such a kind of gift of cutting away all there's so much waste in mental fog and sewer and thoughts that come in our head, oh my God, I wonder how that person took it. Should I, oh my gosh, what if I do this and then they don't like that? And all this fucking mental, all this mental,
it's okay.
Psychosis.
It is effing mental psychosis. Yeah. No, it is.
Yeah,
but
that you go through.
I don't think.
Yeah.
Well, how conscious are most of us of our thoughts anyway? Because I would say it takes me a bit sometimes to even figure out what those thoughts are. I mean, I could just be sitting there and all of a sudden I've gone off on a train of thought that
on the podcast
is negative and I will catch it. and I've caught it, and then I sit there in it for a second and I'm like, where am I going with this thought? But it takes because even in meditation, and I think meditation is really fantastic training for catching our thoughts, right? Because I remember, so my sister and I lived together, and this is, I think, is a very funny story. But
yes,
and the coffee pot broke, and she ordered a new coffee. She just ordered a new coffee pot, the one she wanted, without talking to me, or it was gonna break. I was like, I think that one's on its last leg. It doesn't sound right, and she just ordered one. Very loving, thoughtful thing to do. Oh, I'm just gonna order one, and it'll be the household coffee pot. Yeah. and mind you, we're home, and my caregiver goes out and she brings in this box, and I look at it and I just wanted to kick it, and I was so mad, and I'm like, what is up with that? I was like, okay, I'm mad because she did something nice. I was really confused. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
wait a second. Hold on. Let me sit with this for a little bit. So I sat with it and I sat with it the rest of that day. I think it was early afternoon when the package came. And then I sat with it again the next morning in meditation. And I think I'd even meditated that night. And really what it came down to was that there wasn't that connection. I wanted the connection. I wanted the conversation. I wanted the so she thinks she's giving this great gift, and for me it was an injury. So sometimes I think we don't
Wow.
really know. We don't
Yeah.
really know.
And
And so
communication like can
well,
solve
in
so much,
connection,
hey?
well, that and I mean, I have 7 words. So, above the camera, which you cannot see, I have a list of
Okay.
words and they're like my deep words, right?
Yes.
And the first and Mike Iamelli, he helped me come up with these. He's fantastic. Yeah, if you have a chance, check him out. But
My guy, my guy Nelly. Shout out to
Mike,
my guy Nelly.
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
Iamelli, Iamele, Iamelli. Yeah.
Okay.
So he helped me figure out what my words were. And they're courageous, connected, fascinating, fun, insightful, and fantastical. So these are the
Ooh.
things in my life that are really important to me. And everybody has different words. And he's got this whole process. But I did add 2 more words at the very end. And I just put I am. So I could remember that I could be anything. Because if you say I am and stop, so just try it for a second. Say I am.
I am.
Did you notice that?
Yeah.
After you say that, just I am. And just stop.
Wow, the pause.
It's open.
Yeah.
Now you could be anything,
Yeah.
you know?
I love
But
that.
but me knowing my
That's
words,
special.
isn't it? Yeah. But me knowing my words, knowing that connected was what, I wanted to feel connected was super important. And it helped me figure out where my pain point was in what had happened with the coffee pot.
Yes.
And so I'm grateful, number one, to know my words. I'm super grateful for meditation, because if I had not been sitting in contemplation in that meditation, I wouldn't have figured out. So my pain really didn't have much to do with her. She was just the trigger. She was just the thing that pushed the button. I caused the pain. It was my story.
I seem to find a way to I don't know. It sounds bad, and it's going to sound like woe is me sort of stuff. But I seem to find a way to be that guy that, and like people that know me and love me a lot, they call me this. They say I'm the disruptor. So I'll push the envelope, or I'll push things, and I'll like curiously, but I seem to be the guy that comes in that with the last straw, or like just pokes the last button, like just to test the bean.
Okay, but that could be really good too, right? Like, isn't that kind of important to disrupt things, to change things? Like going to the store, things change regularly. How many times do we get updates on our phones right as we're just getting used to how it works, or they change an app, or they change, or something is changed? But that's the only constant in our world. Is that change. So what would happen if we made that disruption or that change like regular? What if every day we tried to do something out of order on purpose to remember that we need to disrupt it, and that might be a little shocking to our families, but maybe that's not too bad, especially if family isn't what we want it to be right now. Maybe maybe it does need a little shake up. Let's do something different.
And I think I think the reading of it, going, when does it need to shake up? When's the time? When's the right, that sort of, I think that's probably maturity has helped me with that, like knowing when I can, where I can. And I think the longer you spend with people, you realize where their kind of boundaries are. And I'm not saying that I have no boundaries and people can say and do whatever they want, but like I might not have as many boundaries as other people. So you quickly learn where you can poke the bear, or where you can, because if someone's been, if someone's been hypocritical, like I'll jump on that. And then if someone wants to point out where I'm being hypocritical, cool, I'll accept it. I'll welcome it. And I think that's what I was saying. Like you're very self-aware, and that self-awareness is something that's so valuable. I think it's like such, having focus, like culling, like when I've got a photo shoot, I cull the photos that are crap, culling the crap dialogue and unnecessary things in our lives and thoughts and things like that, culling that so then we can make space for the creativity. Like people want to just get better and just put goodness into themselves, but you need to get rid of the badness. Like you need to get rid of the my family member told me that I was worthless. So I wake up every day and I think I'm worthless, but maybe I need to wake up every day and try my best to get rid of that thought. And my grandmother was a counselor for 60 years, and that just what I just said there reminded me of something. She gave me this little doll, and when I was younger, she called it a Dradit doll, and I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? And she says you grab it and you hit it against something. You say drat it, like when you have like a bad thought or whatever. And so now I'm realizing, well, that's just getting rid of that, rather than like, because we will have, like, especially if you stay up late. If you stay up late and you get up the next morning, I know for myself, all sorts of weird thoughts come into your mind. All sorts of things that what the hell? Why am I thinking that? Why am I beating myself up with that? And instead of kind of with a microscope focusing on it, like, because we can do that and go, where is it? Is it connected to my childhood? What happened? Was it? And going too deep into it, like, why don't we take the time to go, that doesn't belong to me, and then pick up something that we want to move forward with, And I think we get too attached to that current thing, that current thought, that current moment, that current fight. We get, that our current, oh, you discriminated against me, you did this, and now I'm, now I'm stuck in this way. You've kind of locked me in this way. And when you think about, I relate a lot of it to the heart because of what happened in my life. So the heart expands into life. It expands, like when it expands, it's pumping blood everywhere. It's expanding.
Well, not just blood. A lot of people aren't aware, and there are studies to show this, that the magnetic field of the heart expands, I think, 3 meters from the body. So it's a large, expansive thing, and I really think it unlocks the quantum field, if you will, that energy, and is how that we transmit those emotions and things like that. But to get to your point, it's really easy for us to, I at least it was for me, to blame, right? These are the messages I picked up as a child. This is what happened. And so this is just one of the other poems, because what you were talking about with the family, like the family, sometimes the messages we get are, you're not valuable, you're not important, or maybe it's not even, you can't go for your dreams. So this poem goes, I told you of my dream. You told me you need money, you need stability, you are alone. Only you can support yourself. No one will be there. So I put my dreams on hold and I went to work, day in and day out, trying to forget who I was, ignoring that pull in my heart. And eventually I smothered myself and forgot who I was. So it's really easy to pick up on those thoughts you were talking about and then take them on as our own. And then even though we took it on as our own, we still want to blame that other person. Now, what's really hard and confusing, I think, is that we all grow up and, excuse me, from, I think, till about the age of 7 or 8, or maybe even a little older, we just accept everything that's given to us. We just take it in. We don't challenge it. We aren't given there's no critical thinking. There's none of that happens. And so it's really easy to, if growing up in that environment, to now be, oh my gosh, I'm so horrible, I'm worthless, and keep with that same script, the same script.
Well, yeah. And how many of us do feel worthy, like worthy of more, or worthy of the change, or worthy of something better, like I think and I appreciate you sharing these poems and opening up. Firstly, I don't want to jump over that. Like I've read your book and your poems, and there's so much. People think like, or you look at a poem and you think it's a short arrangement of words, but there's if it's arranged in the right way, it's so powerful. And I think this is what discussing family, and if we discuss greater family and humanity as a family, and it's that arrangement. How you arrange the poem in a certain way is so powerful. How you arrange your words in a certain way, how we arrange society in a certain way. And that's what I was talking to someone yesterday, and the guy that I mentioned, and he's become CEO of a company. So a CEO has kind of put him like, can you take this company forward? And basically it's all around augmented reality and virtual reality. And I was asking him questions about it, and then I was asking him, and then he was basically explaining to me how the immersion of learning through virtual reality is just so much more powerful, the retention. So they've done so many case studies and realized when people have the virtual reality, they've got these hand tools, they're learning so much faster. So, I said, like, so this is the future. He's like, no, this is the now. Like, this is the now. And it's going to take time to be like adopted in public space, especially augmented reality, things like that. But he said, like, yes, there's the bad. There's, he was showing to someone the other day, and he's wanting to build an online strip joint, on virtual reality, so that the stripper never gets too old and can keep making money well into the future, And so it's kind of trick the system.
Sorry, I find that funny.
Oh,
That's
I was like,
fantastic.
that's brilliant. And then he's asking, my friend, oh, what do you do? And he's like, well, I'm actually like in a mental health background, so I kind of, would probably want to help the stripper, or or like take care of the mental health, So, but anyway, let's move on with our conversation. And so, it's like it's so funny that the kind of the tools we have access to. And he said, yeah, look, this virtual reality, this whole augmented reality, yeah, there's going to be bad in it, there's going to be evil in it, there's going to be all that, but there's going to be good in it. And I want to lead the good. I want to bring the good to it. I want to bring the good into it. And I think when I thought about your poem, the poems that you shared and all your poems, it's how you arrange it that makes it powerful. I think it's how we arrange our society that makes it powerful, how we arrange our relationships, and how we arrange, I guess, our destiny and our life and what we're doing every day, and being more decisive and have more intention with it, and have more and like presence when we're like, or focus, not even presence, just focus in that moment. Like, hey, I'm sitting with you. Like, let me take you in.
I just had this mind-blowing thought that,
tell me,
what if it's, like with family, it's, we get relaxed, it gets easy. What if it's with family that it's just that much easier to go into our unconscious behaviors,
yes,
and let our body,
yes.
And not even think. So it's like we're not even present.
Yep.
So how do we choose presence over the story?
Yeah. I think that's 100% what it is. It's the same. I was saying to someone that they were kind of getting not mistreated, but like kind of overlooked, or like like they weren't getting treated as well as they should be in this moment. And I was kind of noticing it, and I said, it's so strange, but family treats you not as well as they should, not because they don't love you, but because they know you can take it, and they know you and you're around them enough that they go, well, I can say this to this person, they're not going to leave. I say this to someone that I'm just starting to date, or I'm just starting to have a friendship with, or I'm just, and I could blow them off. You know, they could run away. But family, and I think we have that sense that family won't leave. And I, at a very young age, left, or anyway, there's a story to it. But you know, you will leave if the environment gets too intolerable. You will find a way. There'll be just enough is enough. The last penny is dropped. So family and close relationships and friendships, people take them for advantage. Like it's the same with life. Oh, it's always going to be like this. You know, it's always going to be this and that. Or you know, always going to be looked after in this way. Or you know, the sun's just going to pop up, and it's like we shouldn't be taking things for granted. You know, we should be like grateful for what we have, but always striving. And I think you know, it's back to that kind of countries that have power outages and shortages and things like that. And the whole point that I brought about, like not just saying I'm so, you know, and it's so like such a common, I guess, a comfort zone. Like you're talking about family, we get too comfortable. This is a common thought, like common thought pathway. We have comfort thought pathways where we don't challenge those thought pathways. We just go, well, I'm so lucky. I'm so grateful that I don't have to be like those people, or I'm so grateful that I live in this country, or I'm so grateful that I live in this place. I don't have to be like that. And it's like, no. Like that's not like everyone should have what we have. Everyone should have water. You know, like I've got family over, you know, in Africa where like for a week they didn't have any, you know, for 3 days they didn't have any water. And then other like households that for a week didn't have any water. Like, you know, like that should not be the case. We should be arranging society without corruption, without too many politics that disturb. Humans are incredible at organizing things, at building infrastructure, at creating things, at you know, and working together. You know, you look at the Aboriginal culture in Australia. You know, for so many years they worked with the environment, and then they moved, and they worked with the environment, and they moved, but you know, we can do it. It's just a matter of, are we going to arrange it? And we shouldn't just say, oh, I'm so lucky here or grateful here. Hey, we should be here striving for better, more success. Why can't we have fruit trees all up and down the road? Why can't everyone have their own little farm? Why can't everyone have their own little ranch? Why can't everyone be mega wealthy and have abundance in every area? And you know, we should be striving for that rather than just like. And I don't get the mentality of stepping on someone else's head to kind of say, well, at least I'm not as bad as them. And I know it's a mental thing that I think most of humanity has been subdued by, you know.
But I think that,
like
yeah, I think that we've just forgotten that we don't do anything alone. You know, even this podcast, what we're doing right now, you and I are here, but how many people did it take to build the computer? How many people did it take to build the software or write the code? You know, what about the table that the camera is on, or the chair that's being sat in? And I think without remembering that it's not just us. I don't know where that idea came from, but I know it's one I grew up with, that it's up to me. If it is to be, it's up to me. You know, that was one of the big sayings. And that's not true. I think, you know, there's that saying, of course, when we have kids, it takes a village. Well, it still takes a village after we're not kids anymore.
Oh yeah. You need teamwork. Like you need a team at every level. Like you need like assistance and help. And I mean, look, I like that saying. It's up to me to, like if it's meant to be. And I probably like it more in the, okay, to get things rolling, to get things started, to call the person I need to help me. But yeah, you're totally right. Like it's not like, you know, that whole thing, like no man's an island. Like, you know, like we need support. We're like, you know, we've got this amazing technology. We've got so many things to be grateful. And then, okay. And I think paying homage to people that gave us these gifts or helped us or God, or, you know, paying homage to that is okay, get to work, make it better. It's like, I don't think God kind of just went, all right, I worked pretty hard to put this whole, thing together, or the universe, or whatever people want to call it. Like, oh, I just crack the universe together, bit of salt, bit of pepper. It's done now. No, it's like, okay, I built this thing, this energy flowing, incredible, like living organism in the middle of this black abyss, in this dark abyss, night sky, and now that I created that, let's keep going forward. Let's keep creating. And I think we are created, and we are creators, and that's how I look at it. Like that we we and work. I don't look at it as a bad thing. Because I love creating things. I love seeing the potential. I love going out and oh, how much could I get through today? Like, how much could I? Oh wow! Like where did I kind of just, where was that roof? For me, or turn up to a similar environment. Okay, how did I do better this time compared to last time? And I think that's having family supporting you. And I said this to someone the other day. I said, I can't I can't neglect my dreams, or, like have my dreams not as important. Like, dreams have to come first, like your vision, your mission, why you're here. And especially when you go through like the multiple near-death experiences, and okay, something's going on. I'm still showing up here, 33% chance. And then all these things, like I'm still popping back. I don't know what's going on. I think I'm here for something, And so when you keep coming back with that, and you're on a mission, and you're building that dream, people that you bring into your life, the family, the loved ones, the people that you care about, the friendships, the connections, they wouldn't exist if you didn't have that dream. So if you kill that dream, or you say, no, our relationship is more important than my dreams, our friendship, our whatever, then you're going to kill the actual thing that you've created. Because the dream, the energy, the mission, the excitement, the vision, that went into you, and then you went, wow, I've got to connect to someone over in the US. I've got to connect to this person. I've got to create this thing. But if you didn't have that vision to begin with, you wouldn't have had that person. So I think a lot of people end up actually trading family for, like, they go, oh, I'll chuck my dreams, my ambitions, my visions, my plans away, and I'll just focus solely on family. And then they become tired and fat and sad. And then it's like, well, how did that happen? Oh, wait, I didn't keep that fire.
They snuffed out. They snuffed out that light, like in the poem, ignoring that pull in my heart. And eventually I smothered myself and forgot who I was. And I think that's smothering that light. What I envision is that light in the heart, just by myself, because I made a choice, because I loved someone. I chose them over me, and not realizing I could choose them and me, or maybe that wasn't even possible. But if I don't keep finding that light for myself, then I don't have it to give.
Yeah. And well, I love what you just said there. It's so powerful. It reminded me of, in Greek mythology, Prometheus said, gave the gift of fire to man, but not just fire to burn and create and mold things together, but internal fire to light up their life and create something, and have the passion, and bring greatness to the planet, And so that old myth, and so we've been talking about that internal fire, that internal desire that we have since way back then, and I think that's something, exactly what we're talking about. And I think, like, it's probably a great thing to kind of talk about with or end the show on, or go to ending the show on, is like, if you want to have beautiful family, beautiful relationships, beautiful connections, it's kind of like that thing, like, oh, I want to have all this money, right? Or I want to have a six-pack, or I want to have health, or I want to have whatever it is, right? Like, some people, a lot of times, and I've done it before, we go to the end. All right, I want that. And it's like, okay, well, what do I need to start building the bricks, to start stepping up to that level? Who do I need to become by my actions of getting up early every morning, going for a run, whatever it is? Who do I need to become as a person, ethically, my personal integrity? How do I need to mold that and develop that so that I can actually acquire that thing that I want in my vision. And I think that's what the fire is. Like, okay, I want a beautiful family. Well, like I know my family and friends enjoy when I bring my full Kyle to them, when I bring my full self to them. But when I'm tired, or maybe I've, had one too many clients chew my ass, or whatever the case may be in the day, I've had, a few challenges. And then maybe if I bring that to them, I think that's a form of my personal integrity. I'm there, like I have to challenge that and go, hey, how can I be selfless in this moment? Deal with that maybe when I get home, when I've got time, when I've actually got my own space where I can or deal with that when I can go to my room and my office and work on that, and now bring joy and happiness and love to them, and be selfless, and be selfish of, hey, I want to enjoy this time. I want to enjoy this time with them, so it's about interplaying those things and working out how and when and what you need to do to change it. And because like we were talking about, the influence, the impact, like family can have that impact and that influence on us, and we can usually bring them the crap. We put our life on the line during the day for our business, our clients, everything, and we come home and we're tired and grumpy, and it's like, wait a minute, you're investing in your future out in the marketplace, out in the world, and you come home and what are you investing in? Your family? That's your future. Your family's going to be so important, and what are you investing in? And I had to learn this lesson. I had to learn this lesson. And it's such an important lesson to learn. And if you keep that fire lit, and the fire is of success in all areas of your life, then you're going to go, wait a minute, I can't just commit to this part of my life. I also need to commit to this and this and that. And I think a lot of family end up going, hey, all I need to do is show up 9 to 5, and then I'm a good person. So and that's what I was talking about with this person is there's not just that's not good for me. Like, that's not good enough. Good enough is committing and going above and beyond, and realizing there is more in you. And like you were saying, when your kids ask questions, things, and you going, well, is there more to this? Like, is there more? And asking that question, well, is there more in me? Is there more I can give? Is there more to me that I can actually get rid of my cognitive biases and actually think in a different way? Like, that more in me is actually where I'm a good, great person. But me just going, hey, I show 9 to 5, I'm good. Like, that's not a good person.
Well, and I think what you're talking about is take care of yourself and show up for the family. And so in order to do that, that selfishness does exist. And I think a lot of times being selfish, that the word selfish is looked at as a bad word. And I don't think it is a bad word, because if I don't take care of myself, then when I do go to have communications with the kids or whatever, then I'm not there. I'm just not there. And I want to be there, and maybe that's selfish of me. And so that's how I look at that word. I want to be selfish. I want to be there.
To you.
It's important to me. Yeah. So what would you say the homework is for this week?
Ooh. Okay. So in the and this is a good test of how well I know the book that I wrote. And quick update: the book, the physical copy's been designed. So physical copies, I got a proof, and it's only been sent to me 5th of December from Amazon. So I'm going out to other printers to try and see if I can get some copies before Christmas. So paperback and hardcovers coming. The audiobook is uploading to multiple audio sites. And so, very excited. But so in chapter 5 with family, I guess what I talk about is kind of like, and I guess for the American audience, you can think of the NFL, and the NFL has a cut list, right? Like, cut. So what I talk about in terms of the family is spending some time writing down the names of your family members and having a look at the relationships, and think, oh, wow, like, when was the last time I called my cousin? When was the last time I messaged my sister? When was the last time I dropped into this family member? and working out, okay, which are the relationships that you want to actually pour water in so that the life will grow, and which are the relationships that actually have got to a certain point. I know this is probably, people might not like me for what I'm saying or what I'm saying here, but sometimes there comes a point where some family relationships have to make the cut list. Some family relationships, if they're sucking from you so much energy, they're sucking so much of your potential that you could be going out and helping other people with and saving other people's lives, then like, what are you doing? And that's a bad way of being selfish or comfortable, or I'm just going to keep this relationship because it's been there for a long time. Well, maybe, and I've had to experience this in my own life. Hey, if I didn't get rid of some relationships, guess what? I'd be bringing toxicity. I'd be bringing the bad. No matter whether I was on the bottom, in the middle, or the top, or I went to work 9 to 5, or I just did enough for a certain amount of stuff, I would still be considered bad. But I want to be contributing goodness to the world by my own personal integrity. So for me, what's really important is to actually write that list out, work out the relationships that maybe some of the relationships you need to distance. And there's a great thing called soul distancing, where you work out how to protect yourself, how to not have that energy influence your soul, your spirit, how to be with someone sometimes in their company, but not be open and receiving all their junk, and so
Yeah.
your environment
Yeah.
is your environment's going to determine so much of your success. So I actually had to get the F out of Dodge with some family members and realize these people are going to, it actually visually, it ended up being a shackle around my ankle, a hand grabbing my foot as I was maybe swimming for the surface, like a hand pulling me down. And I could see that clearly, that this relationship was that. And I went, this relationship has to change. This has to change. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to create the beautiful life that I want to, and that beautiful life, like ripples, is going to affect other people. So, anyway, long story short, write a list of family members, and look at the names. Yeah. And also another thing. Sorry.
Yeah. I was gonna say, maybe write out your list and then sit in meditation and invite them into your meditation and just contemplate and
Yeah.
just to better understand what maybe you want to do, and maybe it will help better understand who they are too. And then it will give you maybe more, I think it will give you more direction on what you want to do with your list.
Yes. And that's a great point. Like, take that pause, like you did earlier in our chat. I am, like that. Take that pause. But one thing I was going to say, just because someone asked me about sleep. I don't know how it came up, but they asked me a question about sleep, and they said, and I said, they asked me like what sort of religious things I do in the day or spiritual things I do, and one of the things I do is like a gratitude prayer right before bed, and you're having trouble falling asleep and having challenges with family and disturbances with family, family sucking your energy dry. One of the ways to do it is, while you're closing your eyes, say I'm grateful for, and list the names of people that you're grateful for. Or, like we said in the last episode, I send love to and I receive love from. I send love to and I receive love from. I send love to. And after a couple of names of your family members, you'll be out like that. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me, but I'm a visual brain, so maybe my remembering names part of my brain is like, man, I'm out. I'm exhausted. I've done 3 names. Tap me out, son. I can't do it anymore. So I don't know. Maybe that only works for me, but
That's fantastic. Well, our hour is up, and just so you know, on my side, there is a lag in the video. So,
sorry.
I'm just what I'll do is I'll just say, "Hey, I'm Angela," and you can finish us out.
And I'm Kyle, and this is the Destiny of Your Soul. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next Friday.